The Indiana Fever just did something that seemed impossible 3 months ago. They're sitting 4 games above 500 for the first time since 2015, and they accomplished this feat without Caitlin Clark stepping foot on the court. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. While everyone expected them to crumble without their superstar, they just shattered 4 franchise records in a single night against Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wings. 2 players who weren't even on the roster at the start of the season just became the heroes of this incredible story. We're talking about mid-season pickups that nobody saw coming, now rewriting franchise history books. What were these 4 records that got broken? Here's your hint. They involved Kelsey Mitchell going absolutely nuclear, Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard making WNBA history together, and 2 newcomers who are about to change everything you think you know about this Fever team. If you're riding with the Fever, smash that like button and drop "I've got the Fever" in the comments. This story is about to get wild. The setup for this game had drama written all over it. Picture this scene on August 1st. Clark's been sidelined for 6 straight games with that nagging groin injury she picked up in mid-July. No clear timetable for her return. Meanwhile, the Dallas Wings booked the American Airlines Center, home of the Mavericks, with their capacity cranked up to over 20,000 seats. Paige Bueckers is leading the charge for Dallas, hungry for a statement win after watching her team drop 8 of their last 10 games. The pressure was suffocating. Could the Fever maintain their momentum without their rookie sensation orchestrating the offense? Everyone expected them to fold. ESPN analysts questioned their depth. Social media buzzed with takes about how this team was just Caitlin Clark plus 4 players trying to keep up. They were about to get absolutely demolished by those assumptions. But something magical happened when that opening tip revealed the Fever's true mentality. They didn't come out tentative or looking around for someone else to take control. This wasn't survival mode. This was a statement game waiting to explode. No hesitation, no second guessing, just pure basketball aggression from the jump. Kelsey Mitchell grabbed the reins like she'd been waiting for this moment her entire career. She attacked the rim with surgical precision, knocked down shots with ice-cold confidence, and set a tone that screamed, "We're not backing down from anybody." Mitchell finished with 23 points on 9 of 19 shooting, completely carrying the offensive load that Clark usually handles. Here's what makes this even more insane. Mitchell now leads the entire WNBA in 20-plus point games since the All-Star break.
Think about that for a second.
While Clark was nursing her injury, Mitchell stepped up and became the most consistent scorer in the league's second half. Her 13th game this season with 20 or more points wasn't just another good performance. This was Mitchell announcing that the Fever had multiple weapons that could take over games when needed. But Mitchell's dominance was just the beginning of this incredible story. The real plot twist came from 2 players who weren't supposed to matter this season. Meet Aari McDonald and Chloe Bibby, 2 midseason acquisitions that nobody saw coming. These weren't headline signings or blockbuster trades. They were depth moves, insurance policies for a team trying to stay competitive. McDonald's journey reads like a movie script that Hollywood would reject for being too unrealistic. She was completely unsigned at the start of the season. No team wanted her services. Then the Fever called on June 25th with a rest of season contract offer after she spent a couple weeks with them on a hardship deal. Fast forward to this game against Dallas, and she's dropping 15 points with 6 assists while running the offense like she's been there since day one. Here's what made McDonald's performance so special that night. Her point guard instincts kicked in immediately. She knew exactly when to push the pace, when to slow things down, and how to get teammates involved in the perfect moments. Coach Stephanie White noticed this basketball IQ right away, praising McDonald's point guard mentality and understanding of her impact on the game. But McDonald's story gets even crazier. She just became the 3rd fastest player in Fever franchise history to reach 150 points and 50 assists. The only 2 players ahead of her on that list? Caitlin Clark and Tamika Catchings. That's elite company for someone who was sitting at home 3 months ago. Then there's Chloe Bibby, who made an immediate statement that had everyone taking notice. She knocked down 2 crucial 3-pointers in limited minutes off the bench. Those weren't lucky shots or garbage time buckets. They were perfectly timed momentum builders that gave the Fever breathing room when Dallas tried to make their run. Bibby's ability to stretch the floor created space for other players to operate in ways they hadn't experienced all season. Coach White praised her quick integration into the system, noting how she understood how to make plays and showed readiness to shoot when opportunities presented themselves. After just 2 games with the team, Bibby earned herself a rest of season contract. The Fever saw enough in those limited minutes to commit to her for the remainder of the year. These 2 unknowns just became the difference makers in the Fever's biggest win streak since 2015. McDonald provided the point guard leadership they desperately needed with Clark sidelined. Bibby gave them the floor spacing that opened up the entire offensive system. Coach White's vision clicked because these players understood their roles immediately and executed without any hesitation. While everyone focused on the scoreboard, the Fever were quietly breaking records that hadn't been touched in franchise history. 4 different achievements happened in one night. These weren't just good individual performances, these were record-breaking moments that rewrote what this organization could accomplish. Here's the first record that shocked everyone in the basketball world. Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard became the first WNBA teammates ever to record at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in the same game. Let that sink in for a moment. In the entire history of the WNBA, spanning nearly 3 decades, no 2 teammates had ever achieved those comprehensive numbers together in one night. Boston put up 12 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Howard matched her intensity with 11 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Howard's 16 rebounds were a career high, showing she was completely locked in and dominating the boards like she was playing against high school competition. The second record belongs to Kelsey Mitchell, leading the entire WNBA in most 20-point games after the All-Star break. Her 23 points against Dallas marked her 13th game this season with 20 or more points. Mitchell has been the steady scoring threat that keeps this offense humming even when other players struggle or face defensive attention. Chloe Bibby set the 3rd franchise record by hitting multiple 3-pointers in each of her first 3 games with the Fever. Those 2 3-pointers she knocked down weren't just nice shots for a newcomer, they made actual history. No other Fever player had ever started their tenure with the team by hitting multiple 3s in their first 3 appearances. The 4th record belongs to Ari McDonald, becoming the 3rd fastest player in Fever history to reach 150 points and 50 assists. Remember, the only players ahead of her on that list are Caitlin Clark and Tamika Catchings. That's legendary company for someone who was completely off the radar 3 months ago.
4 records in one night proved this wasn't luck or a fluke performance. This was a team finding its true identity and showing what they could accomplish when everyone bought into their roles and contributed to the bigger picture. Meanwhile, Paige Bueckers wasn't about to go down without a fight. The rookie sensation fired back with 22 points on 7 of 14 shooting, adding 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. She was the only Wings player to reach double digits, showing exactly why she's considered a legitimate 3-level scorer in her first WNBA season. But here's where the controversy started brewing. The free throw numbers told a story that had fans immediately jumping on social media. Dallas shot 25 free throws compared to Indiana's 13. That's almost double the attempts, which led to accusations of biased officiating and claims that Bueckers was getting superstar calls as a rookie. The real disaster for Dallas came from DJ Carrington, the reigning most improved player who had an absolute nightmare performance. Just 4 points with 5 turnovers in a game where her team desperately needed veteran leadership. In the final minute of the 3rd quarter, she dribbled up court and launched an errant shot that had fans shaking their heads in disbelief. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard read 88-78 in favor of Indiana. The Fever had just proved they're way more than Caitlin Clark, plus 4 players trying to keep up. They showed they could win games they were supposed to win while breaking franchise records in the process. But the real fireworks came after the game ended. Kelsey Mitchell's post-game comments contained subtle messages that Fever fans had been waiting to hear for months. The locker room buzzed with energy after their historic performance. Players were still riding high from breaking 4 records in one night when Mitchell stepped up to the microphones with confidence radiating from every word. Mitchell's praise for her teammates seemed innocent on the surface, but there was something deeper brewing underneath. She specifically highlighted Arie McDonald's contributions, calling her our blessing in disguise. That phrase hit completely different when you consider the context of recent roster moves and chemistry changes. Here's where it gets really interesting. Mitchell's comments about McDonald being a blessing in disguise carried subtle shots at the team's previous roster construction. The Fever had waived Dana Evans earlier this season, which freed up resources to keep McDonald and sign Chloe Bibby. Mitchell's praise for the new additions suggested the team felt completely liberated after those changes were made.
She went deeper into McDonald's impact, stating that their season had been all over the place, but praising how McDonald stepped up to fill shoes that not a lot of people expect. This wasn't just appreciation for teammate. This was Mitchell acknowledging how much better the team chemistry had become with the new roster construction. Coach Stephanie White emphasized the team's us versus the world mentality paying off in a massive way. White's focus on resilience and overcoming challenges became the foundation of this team's identity. The players bought into this mindset completely, started playing with a chip on their shoulders that translated directly into wins on the court. There was a sense of freedom in how they moved and played together that night. The energy felt different. The commitment to each other seemed stronger. These weren't just empty words after a good win. This was a team that found its identity through adversity and came out stronger on the other side. The anticipation for Clark's return adds another explosive layer to this story. Imagine this record-breaking group getting their superstar back in the lineup. The chemistry they built without her will only get stronger when she rejoins this transformed team. Mitchell and the rest of the squad know they've proven something crucial during this stretch. The Fever weren't just winning games anymore. They were building an identity that could carry them deep into the playoffs and beyond. The pieces fit together better than anyone expected. The roster moves created better balance across the board. The players embraced their roles completely. With Clark coming back to join this record-breaking group, 2025 is looking brighter than anyone imagined possible. This Fever team just proved they're not just Caitlin Clark plus 4 players trying to keep up. They're a legitimate championship contender with depth that nobody saw coming. 4 records broken in one night. Players like Arie McDonald making franchise history. Chloe Bibby setting shooting records in her first 3 games. Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard making WNBA history together. With Clark returning to join this transformed roster, the WNBA better take notice. The chemistry they built without her will only get stronger. The best is yet to come for Indiana, and 2025 might be the year everything changes for this franchise. If you're riding with the Fever, drop "I've got the Fever" in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss another moment of this incredible journey. This team is just getting started.